So this next one is actually one that I've been wondering about the last couple of weeks while we've been building out our new site and adding blog posts and things. So does it have a negative SEO impact if I publish the exact same article to multiple different sources or outlets? Or should I be creating different articles on the same theme?
Okay, it's a good question. And the first thing, people have always heard that there's a duplicate content penalty. Okay, people keep hearing that. They've been saying that forever. There is no duplicate content penalty. You will not get penalized for having duplicate content on other people's sites. What does happen, or what can happen, is if you are a new website and you have very low authority, very low value, right, in Google's eyes, because you're brand new, you're like a newborn baby. But you've published your content on some really well-known website that's got really good traffic and it's really good content. What could happen is that other website can wind up showing for your content that you've written because they have more authority, more trustworthiness, and more expertise, more experience. So they can show up better or more often. Now, what we used to do when we were talking more about these ideas of penalties, and this is probably still a very, very good idea. If you're planning on putting the same piece of content that you have on your website, like a blog post, and you're planning on sharing that in other sources, it's a very good idea to first put it on your own website and make sure Google's indexed it. This way, you're the first one that Google is seeing with that content, right? Have it indexed, right? Then it's also a really good idea that if you are submitting this content somewhere else, submit it to a place where at the very least you have like an author box and you can link back to the home of the original content. So by having these other places linking to the home of the content that you put on your page and have Google having seen that one first, you have a better shot at it being the one that gets ranked and gets found. So the question was, does it impact, is a negative SEO impact, or no, it's not really a negative SEO impact. You're not going to lose value from that thing. However, you may not get ranked if you put this content on a more powerful site and it has rankability and it's got to be, a unique niche or a unique piece of information. And then other pages, it's got more authority, more trust, more value, been around 15 years, you're only around 15 months. They may have a much better shot at that content being seen or ranked better than yours. So again, put it on your site first, make sure Google's indexed it. You can use Search Console to request an indexing quickly. Then I'd go about asking others to publish it or put it on their websites. And then let's face it, if you have a guest post, which is the same content somebody else's website, and maybe that place you're posting has got 10,000 regular readers. Well, you've just gotten yourself out in front of 10,000 regular readers. If they found your content worthwhile and valuable, they might link back to your site. Maybe they link back to your page of content. Maybe they link back to your home site or your homepage or your author page on your site so they can find out more about you. But you get out in front of another audience, right? And that's always a good thing. The more people you can get out in front of, Google's really about building your brand these days. More and more what we're seeing is what people are finding companies with, especially companies that have been around for a little while. They're finding you based on the brand name, right? It's the brand name that is really going to sell. In fact, the conversation that we had in our Lunch and Learn yesterday, we talked about branding as part of the zero-click searches. Being found, being seen, even if people aren't clicking on you, is still building your brand. And, before we had the internet, people would build their brand by putting up billboards and putting magazine advertisements out and getting on the front and the back of the yellow pages and putting up, and you still see people doing things like, covering advertisements on a bus or having on a bus stop or, so that people could see it because they might not know it, they might not need it, but when they do need something and they go and they look it up in Google and they see that brand that they've been seeing around, they go, oh, let me check these guys out. I've been seeing these guys. You kind of have some name recognition. And so that still has value. It's still going to be, a good thing to think about. So I would definitely kind of go and try to build that brand value.
All right. And this is, I guess, kind of my own question. So I'm saying, maybe you've got a blog post you like, and you put it on your website first. It's been there for a month, it's indexed. And you want to take it and maybe republish it on Facebook. So maybe some more people will see it. I just realized, though, most people's Facebooks aren't public. So if you're getting links, if you're putting in links in some of these places that aren't public, there's not really going to be any juice that you're stepping on, right?
Not juice, no, but again, pages are not our index. It's people's personal profile are index. But if you have a Facebook page or you're putting it on a guest as someone else's page, then you will get the traffic. But even still, even if you get, people to your website to look at the, because you're not really going to put, on Facebook, you typically aren't going to rewrite the whole blog post on Facebook. What are you going to do? You're going to put a link to your blog post on Facebook, right? But if you are maybe you're going to republish on, LinkedIn or something and republish the whole thing, you can still link to your page and people can still find your page, can still come to you. It's more like if you have an external resource that you're putting something out there on somebody else's blog, something along those lines, that linking back to you and you're getting some value out of it. Yeah, but there's still juice in no follow links. There's still juice as long as Google can index the page that's pointing at you. If the link is no followed, there's still some value in that. We actually have in the All-Star membership, there's a whole page on no follow versus do follow. Talks about this. It talks about Google made a change to no follow, that it's not a ranking factor in a sense, but it is a what's the term that they used? They used a like a hint. I think is what they called it. It's a hint. So like if you have a link from like Wikipedia, I don't think Wikipedia links are any longer do follow. It used to be do follow. I don't think they are anymore. But if you have a link from Wikipedia, even if it's a no follow link, well, Google takes it as a hint that, well, Wikipedia, they have you on there. All right, that's pretty good to have that. Great, you're good. You're good to go. It gives you some, minor value in doing that. So you're not going to get penalized. There's no penalty. I think that's the actual question. What was the beginning part of the question? Was like, is there any?
I was just wondering about the impact if you're publishing it in multiple different sources or outlets.
But they're talking about SEO impact, right?
Yeah, if there's a negative SEO impact.
Negative SEO impact. And the answer is no. There's not a negative SEO impact. You're not going to lower your rankings because you publish your content elsewhere, but publishing your content elsewhere has a potential for it to show up for somebody else as opposed to you showing up. So again, have it indexed first by your site. If you are putting it elsewhere, try to have at least a link back to either the original content of the site or even the homepage or your author page. Just kind of have a link come back to where it originated from, and you should be fine.
And I think since the update a couple months ago, it seems like a lot of posts from Reddit are showing up in searches a lot more. I wonder if you had a blog post, and then you put it on there, like you were saying, what if your thing over on Reddit starts showing up, but your original one isn't?
And that's fine too. Like again, I think what's been going on, SEOs have been so, especially if you've been around for a while, right? If you've been around the SEO business for a while, you used to have a website, right? You had a website and want everybody to come to your website. Now it's a web presence. It's not a site. You have a presence on the web. So whether it's on Reddit or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or any other place, if you're getting eyeballs and people are beginning to recognize who you are, again, if you can link back in your Reddit back to your main site, it's a wonderful idea. Definitely we should do it. In fact, Sean, I was thinking about for our own stuff, we just opened our own Reddit. Probably not a bad idea to think about taking some of the content that we have. I don't know if we could do this, and I'm not really a Reddit guy. I know you're more into it than I am. But can we take some of our blog content and add it on Reddit? Can we link it back to our website or not? I don't know, but that's not a bad idea because Google is definitely favoring things like Reddit, Quora, things like that. We're seeing a lot more of that showing up at the top for many different searches. So we need to see about taking advantage. Some people might call it barnacle SEO. I've heard things called parasite SEO, where you're basically attaching yourself to somebody else's success to take you along with them a little bit, kind of help with it a little bit. And so, yeah, it's all about the branding too. Like you're out there, people know you, people see what you do, see what you offer, and they're doing it in, let's call it a safe space to them, right? So if we've got a bunch of great content on Reddit and the people on Reddit who what do they call them? Redditors?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, people that are always on Reddit are beginning to see your stuff more and more and more and more, right? You become and you're let's face it, you got to be putting up good, valuable content, right? Stuff that actually has value and makes sense, and it seems interesting to the users. Well, at some point they go, who is this guy? What is this guy? What is this? What's going on? What's he about? Right? And that happened, and we're beginning to see this. We're starting to see it with comments on our YouTube channel. We're starting to see this in LinkedIn, stuff we're putting out there, people asking about stuff. So the more that you put out, the more that you get that brand, and the more that you put out information that people find interesting and valuable, and begin to continue to see it, the more you build the brand, the more people look for you and look, who are you? What are you about? What do you offer? What can I, is this worthwhile? And it's not just about, hey, I rank really well if someone's at my page. Just because you rank well, someone comes to your page, it doesn't mean they're going to use you, right? It just means they found you. But if someone goes out actively looking for you because they've seen you around a bunch of times, and they're actively looking for you, well, they're on a mission now. Now they're looking to find out more about you. And it only takes a little bit to sway them to, let me give it a shot. I got nothing, I like what I've seen. It's good so far. Let me give it a shot and see if it's helpful. So kind of like a referral, referral in the real world. Somebody refers them to you, says, yeah, these guys are great. You should call them. They're going to do a good job for you too. That person's way more likely to book and sign with you. And so we just got a new client the other day because of a referral. And in fact, it was from a referral from a guy that I actually didn't really do any major work with. I did a couple of consulting gigs with him, but I didn't actually do any work for the guy. And it was probably like 10, 12 years ago even. But he was a local guy, and he recommended me to his buddy. And because of that recommendation, we got a deal. I mean, that's what you're looking for, man. That's business 101, referrals. And referrals can be links, referrals can be content on other websites, referrals can be information found in Quora and whatnot, and Reddit and so on. But it builds your brand, builds your links, builds information, and gets people interested in your stuff.